What if one of the most loved little cars in automotive history came back, not with a bigger engine, not with aggressive styling, but with electricity, simplicity, and the same crazy personality that made millions of people fall in love with it? Imagine seeing a familiar shape on a European road, small, round, playful. The headlights look modern. The body looks futuristic. But then you see the badge, Citroën 2CV. Yes, the 2CV is coming back. Welcome back to Motor Show Plus. And this time, the legendary French people's car is entering a completely different era. Citroën officially confirmed in May 2026 that it will launch a new model inspired by the spirit of the original 2CV. And the most interesting part, it is being developed around the idea of electric, simple, versatile and affordable mobility. But before we imagine the future, we need to understand why the original 2CV became such a legend. When the 2CV appeared, it wasn't designed to impress wealthy buyers. It was designed to make everyday transportation accessible. It was simple, light, practical, and incredibly clever. That philosophy is exactly what Citroën says it wants to bring into the new generation, not simply copying the old car, but reinventing the idea behind it. Now imagine the new 2CV. The first thing you'll notice is the shape. It could keep the unmistakable rounded silhouette of the original, while adding modern proportions. The roof would be higher, the windows larger, the headlights completely redesigned. And the body could use smooth aerodynamic surfaces to improve efficiency. Instead of looking like a cheap electric car, it could look charming. And that could become its biggest advantage. Because electric cars are becoming more advanced. But many of them are starting to look almost identical. The new 2CV doesn't need to do that. It needs personality. Imagine two circular LED headlights at the front, a simple Citroën badge between them, a compact hood, short overhangs, and a body designed to make you smile. The wheels could be relatively small compared with modern SUVs, and that's actually a good thing. Smaller wheels can help comfort and efficiency, while also keeping replacement costs lower. Remember, the 2CV was never about showing off. It was about making life easier. Now move around to the side. Imagine a tall glass house, thin pillars, large doors, and perhaps a modern interpretation of the famous fabric-style roof. A removable or sliding roof could give the new 2CV that open-air feeling that made the original so special. And because this is a modern electric car, there could be no need for a traditional fuel tank. More space could be used for passengers and luggage. The interior could be simple too. And this might be one of the most important things about the entire project. Citroën doesn't want to create another technology monster. The company has described the future 2CV around essential values such as affordability, lightweight design, practicality, and versatility. So imagine opening the door. Instead of hundreds of buttons, you see a clean dashboard, a small digital display, a simple steering wheel, a smartphone holder, physical controls for the things you actually use, and comfortable seats. That's it, simple. But simple doesn't have to mean boring. Citroën could use bright colors, fun patterns, interesting materials, and playful details inspired by the original 2CV. Imagine sitting inside and immediately knowing, this isn't a serious German luxury car. It doesn't want to be. It wants to be fun. Now let's talk about the biggest transformation. The engine is gone. In its place, an electric motor. Citroën has confirmed the new 2CV is intended to be part of a new category of affordable small electric vehicles. That means the focus won't necessarily be massive horsepower. Instead, efficiency, low running costs, easy urban driving, and affordability. Imagine driving through a busy city. You press the accelerator, the electric motor responds instantly. The car moves quietly between traffic, parking becomes easy. And because the vehicle is compact, you can squeeze into spaces that a large SUV could never use. This could be exactly what the original 2CV philosophy needs in the modern world. Affordable mobility for a new generation. But here's something interesting. The new 2CV isn't expected to be officially launched in 2027. Current reporting points toward 2028 production and sales, with the upcoming Paris Motor Show expected to provide much more information about the finished car, and that makes 2026 especially important, because Citroën has confirmed that more details will be revealed at the Paris Motor Show in October 2026, so this isn't just an old rumor anymore. The 2CV name is officially returning. The big question is, how close will the final car be to the original? Imagine seeing the new 2CV beside a classic one. The old car has its tiny engine, round headlights, simple steel wheels, and that famous quirky shape. Next to it, the new car has LED lights, electric power, digital technology, modern safety, and a completely redesigned interior. But somehow, you still recognize the family resemblance. That's the magic. A successful revival shouldn't copy every detail. It should preserve the emotion. And Citroën seems to understand that. The company itself says the new 2CV will carry the spirit of the original forward, not simply through nostalgia, but by reinventing its simplicity and accessibility for today's world. And that could make this car much more important than it looks. Because the automotive industry is obsessed with bigger SUVs, bigger screens, bigger wheels, more horsepower, more technology. The 2CV could go in the opposite direction. Smaller, simpler, lighter, cheaper, and more human. Imagine owning one as your daily city car. You don't need 500 horsepower. You don't need 7 seats. You don't need a giant touchscreen. You just need something comfortable, reliable, efficient, and enjoyable. That is where the 2CV could become special again. Now imagine a modern 2CV Heritage Edition. Cream-colored body, classic-inspired wheels, retro badges, a soft fabric roof, and an interior using colors from the original car, but underneath, modern electric technology. That combination could be incredible. Then imagine a completely different version, a bright yellow 2CV, black roof, black wheels, colorful interior, designed specifically for younger buyers. Suddenly, the old people's car becomes a new generation's fashion statement, and that's the biggest opportunity. The 2CV doesn't need to beat a Tesla in acceleration. It doesn't need to beat a sports car around a track. It needs to make people smile. And perhaps, that's exactly what modern cars are missing: personality. Now imagine the first public reveal. The lights go down at the Paris Motor Show. The crowd becomes silent. A screen shows an original 2CV, 1950s. Then the image disappears. A small electric motor sound begins. 2 modern headlights appear. The new 2CV slowly rolls onto the stage. The audience sees the shape, the roof, the headlights, the wheels, and finally, the Citroën badge. The screen behind it displays one simple message. The icon is back. And this time, it's electric. But remember, the final production specifications are still to come. Citroën has confirmed the project, but details such as final power, battery capacity, range, equipment, and exact pricing have not yet been fully revealed. More information is expected in October 2026, so now I want your opinion. Would you actually buy a modern electric 2CV? Would you prefer it to remain extremely simple, or should Citroën load it with modern technology? And most importantly, should the new 2CV look almost exactly like the classic, or should Citroën create something completely futuristic? Tell us in the comments, because the original 2CV wasn't famous because it was the fastest. It wasn't famous because it was the most luxurious. It became famous because ordinary people could use it. It represented freedom, it represented simplicity, and it represented a different way of thinking about the automobile. Now, that idea is coming back, not with a roar, not with a V8, but with a quiet electric motor, and one of the most recognizable names in French automotive history, Citroën 2CV. The legend isn't being copied, it's being reinvented, and if Citroën gets this right, the little car could become one of the biggest automotive comeback stories of the decade. Subscribe to Motor Show Plus, because when the future meets nostalgia, the most interesting cars are sometimes the ones you least expect.